And that's just what I informed them about. Couldn't really say anything else.
It's like being an informant. Be careful there.
I don't get paid for that.
Yet,
Yeah.
if a company doesn't deliver what they said they would you hire them again?
Personally, no. No.
If a person is so inadequate in their job, would you employ them again?
I would say not normally, no. Certainly not.
Um, it's exactly that which the Conservative Party doesn't do. Uh, they employ again and they hire again, as internally they're trying to promote uh, one of their own inner sanctums to become Tory leader.
Mm.
Instead of drafting in fresh blood to become leader, who will have 4 years to stamp their leadership quality on the general public to see public to see, they decided to keep it in the family.
Mm.
And those exact same people who led the party to rack and ruin are battling for the top job, hoping the general public will buy it. Talk about insanity
Mm.
and doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
So here are the final four to be considered for the role. Okay, so we got
Yeah.
James, not so cleverly.
Mm.
He was one of the biggest failures when it came to illegal immigration. Uh, I knew when I saw him in front of 10 Downing Street, spouting the usual politician type phrases,
Yes.
that he wouldn't be up to much. When he
Mm.
was given the job, he was saying, we must do this, we must do that. And of course, he didn't do it.
No.
Um, and I think we even made a podcast about this at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He wants to be voted into the leadership role because, wait for it, he's mixed race. Really?
Maybe
No, no,
probably is, but yeah.
no. Yeah, but that's his reason.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got no new ideas,
Mm.
no suggesting a path forward.
Yeah.
No, apparently because he's a mixed race, which is a very lefty thing to say.
Yeah.
It's almost DEI.
Very DEI. Yeah.
I didn't say it was because I'd be putting words into his mouth, and
Well, okay.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
He's got to say it himself. So that's the first. That's the first candidate. One failure.
Yeah.
Second candidate is Kemi Loose Lips Badenoch, wanting to
Mm.
make a name for herself by suggesting she'll sort out the fraud being caused by the civil service. She said that many of them need to go to prison. Uh, she was told by the civil service to STFU,
Mm.
otherwise she will live to regret it. So she's now keeping mum. She's stopped using that tack.
Yeah.
She's not tack anymore. However, she's still shouting from the metaphorical rooftops about the failures of the last government, something that we already know.
Mm.
So is just alienating herself from all and sundry. So she's saying they were wrong, they were wrong, they were wrong, and they're just going to keep her at arm's length because
Mm.
they're just not going to be very helpful for her. So if she was voted to be a Tory leader, she wouldn't have much assistance from the people she's pulled the rug out from under their feet,
Yeah.
right? As a black lady, she was Minister of State for Equalities. So let's be honest about it. It was a convenient gap that needed to be filled. She was also Exchequer Secretary of the Treasury. So if there was a black hole of 22 billion, uh, she must know where it went to.
Yeah. Okay. But that's another issue that I'll talk about in a
Could,
minute.
could
Yeah.
it could it have been the fraudulent civil service?
Mm.
And if there wasn't a black hole of 22 billion, which the conservatives are trying to say that there wasn't.
Mm.
However, she's made no remarks about that.
No.
Why hasn't she said so? Why didn't she? She'd know.
Well, yeah, I'll get onto this in a minute. I don't believe this black hole. I want to say
Well,
don't. There isn't a black hole that exists. It did tell you what the figures on it. Yeah. Yes.
she
Yeah.
would be saying that now. She would
Yeah.
be saying, right? Robert Jenrick,
Mm.
he's trying to placate the crowd. He tried to muster up the memories of Thatcher. He tried to bring in the Thatcherite ideas,
Yeah.
trying to gain confidence in the people by saying the UK must be stricter on immigration. Really?
Preaching to the converted. Yes,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
That subject, the immigration being stricter, is still very much like an open sore for the British people.
Mm.
And he wants to just keep on picking on the scab. Talking about closing the barn door after the horse strolled outside, I wouldn't even say bolted because this problem has been so long. You know, the horse didn't even need to bolt.
Well,
It just
but
left.
the whole herd has left the stable almost on that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
So he's suggesting the same thing Nigel Farage has been saying,
Yeah.
not for nigh on 10 years.
Yeah.
Not an original thought in his body. And he was immigration minister at one time too. So why didn't he do it then? You know,
Right. There is a core. There is a common core problem here, and yeah, I can see
right?
this. Yes.
But I've not finished yet. We're getting there
Go.
because there are four of them. See,
Oh, okay. We got one more. Yeah.
Tom Tugendhat,
Oh, yeah.
uh, the last of the quartet, tried to use his army service to woo the voters.
Yeah.
He said, "I've had enough of Westminster games and point scoring, even though he was part of it as security minister."
All right.
He added, "My mission is to win the next general election, and I've never lost a mission yet."
Mm.
That's what he said. Now,
All right.
I don't know if he's not been told yet, but the Conservatives were thrashed at the last elections, and he was part of the Conservative team.
Yeah. It's kind of, yeah.
You know, it's like General Custer. You know,
Yeah. The last stand. Yeah. Yeah.
he was saying, "No, I've never lost a battle yet." Yeah.
Yeah. He was a
So,
strange. Yeah. Yeah.
so what would a successful future for the Conservatives look like? I think only if somebody unknown with charisma,
Mm.
intelligence, and charm uh, might well be a better choice to pull this off than the rebirth of the Conservative brand.
Mm.
If you go past the restaurant and the food is terrible
Yeah.
and it's never got any customers, you put the restaurant under new management.
Mm.
The new management doesn't rehire the kitchen staff
No.
because you're going to get the same crap, right?
Yeah.
So instead of the usual deadbeat crowd clean onto their egos and bloated salaries,
Hmm.
you need to give the Conservative Party a good rectal lavaging, a good rectal cleaning.
Yes.
You get rid of the crap and
Yeah.
put something that might be worth
Right.
thinking about in their place.
Yeah. Okay.
Off you go.
Well, okay.
I hope you understood that.
Yes, I did. I know where
I've,
you're
I've,
coming from. Yeah. I
I've
mean,
gone off a little bit off subject.
I, yeah. Okay. Well, with regards to Mr. Cleverly, I'd sooner just forget what ethnicity he is, period. Is he suitable for the job? Yeah. I mean, I I understand. Well, obviously, we've gone into this without going too far. We just joked about DEI. I think the notions of DEI are noble. Yeah, giving people opportunities, etc. But I mean, that's a separate issue, and that shouldn't be to decide the leadership of a country. Yeah, I don't care if the next leader of the conservative of the country or potential leader of the country is what ethnicity are, what physical disabilities, what their sexual preferences are, if they're good at their job. Um, simple as. Yeah, yeah. That shouldn't come into it. Now, I think it's very strange he said that. Okay, he said it. I mean, I didn't hear him say it. As I said, I'm kind of being a bit ignorant to the peripheral news if I can at the moment because it just annoys me. I'll be quite honest. Yeah, they're all just going around saying things. I quite like Badenoch for quite a few different reasons. I think she does speak her mind, sort of, as far as a politician of her standing does. She's probably the best. If you're going to choose out of the four, I mean, yeah, if I presented you at the four, I'd probably go for Badenoch personally. Yeah,
if we're forced to, but she's gonna because she does speak her mind
yeah.
and she doesn't take prisoners.
Hmm.
She's gonna have an awful lot of enemies,
Well,
and that's gonna be very detrimental
I,
to
I,
the cause.
well, I don't really care about the politicians. I'll be quite honest. They come and go. Yeah, overall, yeah, yeah. If she gets the petition power, she is against, as we've said before, and I've called it quite openly, the blob, the civil service. Um, they're the polite names. Yeah, there's the Humphreys and Lower in it. That's from the comedy program in the UK in the 80s called Yes Minister, which I'm watching some of occasionally. Could be a documentary. It really could. For what things have come out, what things have been said. So yeah, I mean, anyone that gets in is going to be up against a struggle. A, to reform the Conservative Party to begin with, which still has the problem of being the crusty old party. We are not in the same times. I mean, yeah, you can sort of say Thatcher was a strong leader, like her, dislike her, divisive and strong, said her mind. Yeah, okay, I've got a lot of good feelings about her. I've still got a lot of good feelings about her and a lot of bad. Okay, yeah, hey man, I could say that about quite a few contemporary leaders that you can only vote for who's ever put in front of you, and sometimes the lesser of two evils or four evils or whatever the case may be. Um, Now, yeah, there does seem to be a common core. They're all going to have problems with the civil service. They've all had a bash at it before and proved that they're incapable of resolving it.
There you are.
Um, Now, I'm going to give examples here. We do have alternatives that we could vote for in the UK. If certain other party and individuals were voted in, could they reform the civil service, which does seem to be the core problem, be it financial, be it with immigration, be it with lots of other issues as well. That's an interesting question. Priti Patel tried to take on the civil service and got a
Something for it.
yeah, which was strange. She's not at all woman away. Okay, she might give some people a tongue thrashing on times. Well, excuse me, your salaries say that you can take a tongue thrashing. Yeah, she didn't physically grab a knife or anything or the paper opener and threaten you with it. Yeah. Um, so to me, yeah, they are up against this this thing that's been allowed to grow over the past probably 140 years, quite frankly. Yeah. Certainly the last 30 years, it's become unwieldy. It's a swamp, to
Yep.
coin somebody else's thing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's not only the UK that has this problem. We'll stick with that. All the names you've just mentioned, yeah, I do think there needs to be new blood, new charisma. I mean, I'd like to say they're the old guard, but they're not. A couple of them are younger than I am. Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
consider myself very old. Mid 50s. I'm sort of coming into my maturity now, as it were. My understanding of the world. Um, yeah, I mean, how are they going to do it now? Certainly, I mean, I would go further. I do think we need a big political reform in the UK, but it's all right to bandy this about reform without having any substance, without saying what you believe. Um, Part of me thinks maybe the party system is not fit for purpose. Yeah.
What about if everybody is an independent and you don't
Well,
have
that's where I'm going with it. But we had this once before in the UK, in England, and the trouble is that it's only the elites, if you like. You then elite issue, um, unless you can find a way that anyone can stand and I wouldn't say be paid for, but be able to stand and raise up, and be elected locally. True democracy. Would true democracy work? Um, People do stand as independents. People have won, but they still have backing, and they still have people back them who do have an agenda. So again, that's got difficulty. But I do look at especially at the moment where we've got the uni party, and I don't care. I mean, let's be honest. You can take Cleverly. You could probably stick him into the modern Labour Party. You
and
could
there won't
probably
be any
take,
difference.
and you could take people from the modern Labour Party and put them differently. Yeah. There was a time where I could tell who I was voting for. Yeah. Um, Now you just know. I mean, that's why only 60% of the people probably voted like in the last general election because there's apathy. It doesn't matter what I vote for. It's going to be one of this. Yeah. Why don't they just amalgamate? Yeah. Which is virtually what it is. I don't want to be mortal enemies. I want cross-party working, of course I do, which happens actually on an individual lesson, on an individual case. A lot of politicians do normally get on. Not so much now, I believe, but yeah, certainly in the past. Um, it's a Yeah, I think our whole system in the UK needs to be looked at. Now, quite how you change it is like you say, do you have truly independent people standing, abolish a um a party, but then you're still going to have them people form coalitions. That's going to be natural.
Well,
Voting
I'm,
blocks.
I'm saying abolish all parties, not just one or two.
No,
All,
that's what I
all,
mean. Or that's what I'm saying. Abolish all parties.
and I
Yeah.
imagine that the new voted MPs, as they are not non-part as a non-party,
Mm.
would they know each other? Would they be drawn to each other?
Well, cool. Yeah.
They can't be drawn to each other through their parties because the
No.
parties exist. They would have
Yeah.
to be together through their common beliefs.
Well, this is it. They still form their own voting blocks, which is probably how the parties originally done. And then you'll get to a cycle where a new party will develop as well. Um, yeah, there's no ideal system. Um, I do think that there's certainly got to be a look at how our voting happens in the UK as it is. Now, I've moved away from the original problem of what you discussed. Would I employ these people? Would I employ most politicians in a business?
Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's some reasons. I mean, I'm not saying all. There are some sensible politicians who are there for right reasons,
I would,
hopefully.
I, I would want my paper clips to remain in the office for the whole week.
Yeah, but yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm feeling. I mean, I think we've all got apathy at the moment, and yeah, something needs to be done. probably in the first instance with the voting system, but then overlook at it. But then how would an individual stand in an election when they need money for publicity, canvassing? I know it's easier now online. Yeah.
Through the
Um,
local sponsors.
well, yeah. Okay. But
It will be done on a local scale,
yeah, I mean, okay.
not
If I
on a
was,
national scale. If you have a political party, the political party can back an MP or a
yeah,
candidate to be an
yeah,
MP. If it's no political party, then nobody's going to back a local MP. The local
yeah,
MP is going to have to ask the townsfolk who they're going to represent
yeah. I
for
mean,
the townsfolk to support them.
I mean, yeah,
It would take money out of the system.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
there'd be less corruption.
I mean, what do you need? Was it a deposit of 500 or something to stand as yeah? And I mean, yeah, if you get 500 people give you £1 each, you got your money. Yeah, which is probably quite easy. Yeah, I represent something new, efficient. Only going to cost you £1 in the first instant. Yeah, but then you're still going to have the trouble if a local businessman backs you. They're going to want something back in return. So you're still introducing potential for corruption or coercion.
You
Yeah.
know that's another story.
Well, yeah. So I'm afraid, yeah, but we have that already. So, you know,
On a grand scale.
yeah, yeah, on a bigger scale. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing. How do we reform our system? In answer to your initial question, how I don't think I'd have. I don't think I want any of the above to become the next Tory leader,
There you are.
potentially to be the next leader.